Well, ICE agents have been putting themselves in harm's way, getting dangerous illegals off our streets. And they've been wearing face masks in order to protect themselves from being identified. But Democrats are demanding that they ditch the masks or be doxxed. Watch.
The question is, if everything is legitimate and proper, why are you wearing masks to hide your face?
Folks getting snatched off the street by secret police who are wearing masks.
Every single ICE agent who's engaged in this aggressive overreach and are trying to hide their identities from the American people will be unsuccessful in doing that. This is America. This is not the Soviet Union. We're not behind the Iron Curtain. This is not the 1930s. And every single one of them, no matter what it takes, no matter how long it takes, will of course be identified.
Well, now Republicans are out with a new bill to protect our ICE agents from being exposed. And if it passes, any person who doxes agents could face fines and up to 5 years in prison. Marie, I took personal umbrage at those statements because I find it horrifying that those individuals are comparing this with World War II and what happened. Having just got back from Poland, I think that is an outrageous example and analogy to make. And I also question why all of them in any way treat the safety and security of our ICE agents so deeply beneath anything in the execution of their doing to protect the U.S. citizens.
Well, first I'll say I think doxing should be illegal, and anyone who doxes anyone should face whatever those penalties in the bill were. So I think doxing is very bad, and I don't think many, for myself, I don't think ICE agents should be covered. I think you should know who is arresting you, especially if there is misconduct. That doesn't mean you should be doxed, but it has been a principle in this country where police, you see who's arresting you, there are Miranda rights, there are things that happen, and I will say, Emily, I hate historical comparisons too, but when I see some of these ICE agents with masks slamming kids on the ground, people that are down, continuing to go after them, I want to know who those ICE agents are, not to dox them, but because we have a system in our country where law enforcement also has responsibilities, and I don't think they should be wearing masks. I don't. Not to dox them, not to put them in harm's way, but I see those photos, and it does not look like America to me. It looks like other places, and that worries me a lot, candidly, for civil liberties and protections of citizens.
And the agents, on the other hand, the agents are representing the federal government. They're representing the state. It's why when we see lawsuits on prisoners' behalf, they're suing the warden, right? Mm-hmm. You're bringing your complaint to the figurehead. So the answer to Marie's question is, well, we know who is bringing this, and it's not these individuals who are the boots on ground. We've seen arrests that have had to be made on the part for doxing with massive threats and really terrifying things and violence going about. And as the acting ICE director said, so you guys care more about masks on that than you do the safety? I mean, this is sort of a ridiculous comparison.
It is. We talk a lot about federal employees who've lost their jobs and our sympathy for federal employees. Well, the federal employees who have the hardest job in the country are ICE and Border Patrol. And this is not just this year. This has been going back in time. First, ICE was told, we need to abolish you. We need to get rid of you. Abolish ICE, AOC said over and over, as did many Democrats. Then they got rid of that talking point. Then we were told during the Biden administration, move over to Border Patrol. They were whipping migrants at the border on horseback, whipping them. That turned out to be a total hoax, total scam, never happened, but Border Patrol was demonized. Then they get doxxed by LA activist groups. Literally their pictures, their phone numbers, and the words underneath their pictures. These people are racially terrorizing and criminalizing entire communities with their policy, kidnapping people. Imagine if you're a child of that ICE agent and your dad's picture is there, along with his phone number, saying he's kidnapping people. These people have it hardest.
Frankly, Tom, I think a lot of people question why this wasn't illegal to begin with. This bill should sail through.
Well, I don't know the details of the bill. I generally don't like these kind of bills that are like, the reason they say you can't cover your face if you're impeding an investigation. Some of the wording of that bill seems a little bit ambiguous to me, so I don't know. I would say I would support this bill as it is. But I mean, people have been covering their faces. Antifa covers their face and they march in the streets. All during COVID, people covered their face. I don't like face coverings. It's a very inhuman thing. You do have to cover your face if you're protecting yourself. A welder has to cover his face. Special weapons and tactics, they have to cover their face because they're being shot at. If these police are in danger, they can cover their face. All right? That's the line.
Yeah, and they're in danger.
Well, and as are their families, and that's what we've seen as well. The issue of doxing, which I agree with you, should be illegal, and I hope they go after anyone that does it. At the same time, we're talking about families, we're talking about children of these ICE agents that will be potentially threatened, and that's a very frightening thing. The masking thing is tough because, look, I want to thank them. I want to know who these ICE agents are. I want to look them in the face and say thank you so much for what you're doing, because it is not an easy job, and there's a lot of dangerous illegals that are still roaming our streets right now.
You're right. It's a thankless job. We thank them. Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.